Ahead on Eyewitness News, a Cuban Air Force defector and his family land in Washington tonight after a daring plane rescue from their homeland. An earthquake rattles its way across San Francisco today, shaking loose some buildings. And despite today's loss, the Redskins still have a chance at the playoffs. Ken Mease and Frank Herzog will have our team coverage. Eyewitness News is next.
You should forget about giving fruitcake this year and go to Marshall's instead. A fruitcake takes 23 separate ingredients. On the other hand, you can just go to Marshall's with the American Express card. And Marshall's has everything from sweaters to sneakers to crystal, all brand names, all 20 to 60% off department store prices. Of course, it's the thought that counts. It's just that at Marshall's, you can think bigger.
Never pay for a price.
Marshall. Doesn't that make the perfect holiday gift?
Every Kraft single is made from 5 ounces of milk. How did they do that?
Well, first you buy the whole. See? Because you gotta have a place for the milk to go. Then when it's all filled up, the whole disappears.
Kraft singles are made from 5 ounces of milk. That's why they taste better than imitation cheese, made mostly with oil and water.
That looks good.
Milk makes every single Kraft single taste better. Look for Kraft Light singles, too.
To save energy on cold winter nights, remember to close your chimney flue. Except, of course, on one very special cold winter night. For more ways to save energy, call us.
Good evening, I'm Chris Gordon, and this is the weekend edition of Eyewitness News. An international story of hope and heroism tonight has become a local story. The Cuban Air Force defector, who made a death-defying flight to bring his family to freedom, tonight has brought his family here to the Washington area. Orestes Lorenzo Perez and his family arrived just a little more than an hour ago at National Airport. He arrived and received a hero's welcome. Though he had not slept in 3 days, he would not rest till he brought his family here to the place they will make their new home, Alexandria, Virginia. Lorenzo had been condemned to death in Cuba as a traitor after he defected and flew to the United States with a MiG jet. His family wasn't allowed to leave Cuba. So he flew this small 4-passenger plane, which he borrowed from a group in Springfield, Virginia, from Florida into Cuba, and picked up his wife and 2 sons on a Cuban highway during evening rush hour.
At the same time, when I was supposed to land there, a truck and a bus were coming to me, and at the same direction was a car. I flew over the car, I landed in front of the car. I stopped the plane in about 400, 600 feet, face to face with the truck. I made a U-turn and come back, pick them up because they stay behind me. And they sat on the plane, we take off. I do not believe what we had done. I do not believe myself. Somebody would tell me this history. I do not believe.
Members of the Hispanic community in the nation's capital turned out to greet the new arrivals.
He decided to, well, they don't let him leave, we're going to go get him. And he just laughed on their face, went in and rescued the family. So I think we're very touched by this action.
Muy feliz. Very happy.
That's his wife, Vicki. Now, they left Cuba with the clothes on their back. That's it. That's all their possessions tonight, the clothes on their back. They need everything. And we will undoubtedly have more on our new neighbors in the coming days here on Eyewitness News. This related story, the U.S. Customs Agency is investigating the incident. An official there says that they're not yet convinced that the Lorenzo family actually made the flight, and a spokesman for the Department of Defense reports that they were unaware of the flight. But the family is here tonight. In other news, a small earthquake rattled San Francisco today. The quake caused some minor damage, but no injuries were reported. Scientists say the trembler measured 3.3 on the Richter scale and was centered just north of San Leandro. Meanwhile, a major earthquake in the Banda Sea, northern Australia, There were no immediate reports of injuries or damage. The Australian Seismological Center measured the quake at 7.3 on the Richter scale. Scientists put the epicenter of the quake some 400 miles north of Darwin, Australia. In Somalia today, the first truck convoy of food in over a month reached the starving town of Baidoa. The Marines stood guard as relief workers unloaded food to 20 distribution centers. At dawn today, accompanied by Belgian paratroopers, Marines also took control of the southern port city of Kismayu. UN sources said the Marines are headed for 2 other port cities to help reopen gateways there. Also today, a Marine spokesman says that a foot patrol in the capital city of Mogadishu exchanged fire with Somali gunmen. One Somali was shot when he pointed a machine gun at the Marines. Eyewitness News has learned that 2 D.C. Fire Department dispatchers were arrested on Friday after getting into a fight while on duty. The spat left both of the workers injured and caused a major disruption at the Emergency Dispatch Center. Dave Statter has our report.
Jade Young and Alicia Rucker work inside this building. This is the D.C. Fire Department's Communications Center.
Ambulance dispatcher 8, may I help you?
If you dial 911 in the district and need a fire truck or ambulance, these are the people who take the call and then dispatch emergency crews.
17 Engine 12, Truck 4, Battalion 1 response, smoking apartment number 1.
Rucker and Young arrived for work as normal for Friday's day shift, but Channel 9 has learned that the way the 2 women left here Friday was anything but normal. Alicia Rucker was taken from the building in handcuffs by D.C. police. Jade Young left work in the back of an ambulance. Sources familiar with Friday's incident tell Channel 9 that the problem started around 9 a.m. when both women left the dispatching area to get something from the nearby kitchen. A very short time later, the others working the shift heard hollering and screaming coming from the kitchen area. A supervisor went over to check it out and found himself in the middle of a fight. Our sources tell us at one point dispatcher Young had been knocked to the floor and later complained of chest and neck pain. Dispatcher Rucker was bleeding from a cut to her forehead. The supervisor decided this was a case for D.C. police. Rucker was arrested and taken to the 5th District Station. Young was taken into custody after being released from the hospital a short time later. Both were charged with simple assault. If this story about a brawl between fire department dispatchers sounds familiar, it should. In 1989 and 90, Channel 9 reported on a series of fistfights between on-duty dispatchers. A fire department spokesman says dispatchers Rucker and Young are currently on administrative leave with pay, pending an investigation into the situation. Both Rucker and Young apparently have unlisted phone numbers, so we don't know their versions of what this was all about. But according to our sources, the fists began flying during an argument concerning the cleanliness of a toilet in the women's restroom. From Northwest Washington, I'm Dave Statter, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A D.C. Fire Department spokesman tells Channel 9 that despite Friday's disturbance, all emergency calls were promptly handled. Ahead on Eyewitness News, Doug Hill says the outlook's pretty gray, and he's talking about the weather for the white Christmas. Holiday weekend forecast coming up.
Announces the arrival of Roy's Roasters, honey-basted, slow-roasted chicken that'll leave you speechless. A one-of-a-kind place for a one-of-a-kind taste.
The Lexus Coupe can be equipped with a cellular phone that allows you to dial, answer, and hang up without ever letting go of the wheel. Proving once you get your hands on a Lexus, they tend to stay that way. During the holidays, there are some things even money can't buy. So we offer them for free. Fair Oaks.
Well, the Christmas countdown is on, and a survey by lifestyle management consultant Michael Fortino says people spend more time bickering and trudging through shopping malls than relaxing with friends during the holidays. According to the study, the average person spends less than 17 minutes planning holiday purchases, but then about 6 hours shopping for them. 28 minutes are spent wrapping gifts, and some 7.5 hours are spent preparing holiday meals. The survey showed that less than half a day is devoted to relaxation and enjoyment. And listen to this, the average parent spends a mere 9 minutes playing with children on Christmas morning. So a good holiday gift, give of yourself, give of your time to your children.
Absolutely.
You know, I noticed you have a little bronchitis.
And
Mel Crouppen from 2J sent you some chicken soup.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, Mel. And I'll, when I get home tonight, pop a little in the microwave. And
Does it?
It's something magical about chicken soup,
Let's
isn't it?
see. I hope you feel better.
That's it. Oh, well, it's hard to imagine feeling much worse, Chris. I'll tell you the truth. All right, let's get to it. The kids back in school in the morning. Take a look at the bus stop forecast for Monday morning. We'll have a lot of sunshine, but cold temperatures. Temperatures between 27 and 33 degrees with light winds. Here are our numbers for this Sunday. The official high this afternoon was at National Airport, reached all the way up to 55, 10 above average, 43 the low this morning. It's now 38 at National. That's the new low. There you see the averages. Currently here at Broadcast House, we're at 40 degrees, dew point at 22, a rising barometer, gusty northwesterly winds. Take a look at our graphics for you, and you'll be able to see the dramatic progress of this cold front during the day. The cloud line moving closer and closer and closer and closer. The fact that the winds up about 6 miles are blowing 150 miles an hour is not hurting either. They are screaming up there. So that cloud band moving. So we'll keep our forecast clearing for our southern and eastern suburbs where there still is some cloudiness. A large area of high pressure sprawling across the Midwest is responsible. It's going to suppress the rain to the south. Meanwhile, out in the west, if you can read my little note, winter begins 9:43 tomorrow morning, and it's already winter out in much of the Pacific Northwest. Take a look at these scenes from Spokane, Washington, where they've had 6 more inches of snow, adding to the foot of snow already on the ground in the Spokane area. Strong winds and sub-freezing temperatures making it real tough. It's going to be an incredibly bad rush hour tomorrow morning, but guaranteed white Christmas for the folks in that part of Washington state. All right, back to the maps, and you see our radar. The only thing being detected now is a little rain through Texas and Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi, but there is more snow falling out in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. Now, for tomorrow, we're going to see the high pressure, dry air. That means a lot of sunshine and seasonally cold temperatures. That storm you see in Minnesota is the same one that caused that snow out in Spokane. It'll be weakening some, causing some snow in Canada and cold temperatures, highs only teens and 20s. We'll be in the low 40s. Then by the time we roll into Tuesday, another frontal system may bring us a few clouds. It'll be a touch milder. Again, a lot of rain down south, and we're looking later in the week for one of those areas of low pressure to move northward and give us some rain showers for Christmas Eve. And right now it looks like it should clear and turn somewhat colder with some sunshine for Christmas Day. Here's our forecast overnight from the Weather Center. We'll look for a continued clearing and cold weather pattern to develop. Lows 27 to 33. In the morning, it'll be bright and brisk, but cold. Well, that's what brisk is, I guess. 20s and 30s. Who cares, you know? By the afternoon, sunny and cold, 40 to 44. Then into Tuesday, partly cloudy, 46 to 50. And our 6-day shows chilly temperatures, another chance of rain showers for the day on Christmas Eve. Then clearing and colder, a real taste of winter weather. 35 on Friday, 33 on Saturday. And again, 9:43 tomorrow morning if you're looking for the absolute moment winter begins. And as always, we need your help this holiday season. For Dollars for Needy Children Department, 0531 Washington, D.C., 20073. The money we raise now. Chris, we have about $20,000 raised so far. The goal is 40, and you were down there at the shopping trip a couple weeks ago, and you know what it means to kids, and this is how we raise money now so we can take them next year shopping.
And I'll be there, and I hope we can
appreciate it.
Do it again. Thank you very much. Take care of that cold.
Thank you.
Sports is up next. The Eagles were flying high as Randall Cunningham elevated them to a playoff berth with a win over the Skins. But all is not lost. The Skins can still make the playoffs. Ken Mease and Frank Herzog have the story next.
Until now, some thought imported luxury sedans possessed a higher level of engineering, but change is on the horizon. Introducing the 1993 Cadillac Seville STS with the North Star system. At its heart, a 295 horsepower North Star V8, so advanced, its first scheduled tune-up is 100,000 miles. The Seville STS at the Cadillac Association of Greater Washington, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
PC, I'm doing all my holiday shopping at CompUSA this year. Over 5,000 computer gift ideas at super low prices every day.
Yeah, like this Oki Data printer.
Wow.
It's an LED page printer that gives you super laser quality for the price of a dot matrix printer.
Spoken like a true lover of the holidays.
And for Christmas morning, get Sound Blaster.
I will.
It lets you hear music and sound effects on your computer. You can even attach speakers to Sound Blaster. There's nothing like Christmas in the USA.
CompUSA, the computer superstore. Hey, what's he doing with that star? Oh, he put it on top of the computer.
How do you see what you can't see and hear what you can't hear? At Northrop, optical sensors can help helicopter pilots see dangerous power lines in total darkness. The acoustic sensor in a BAT weapon can hear the sound of a tank miles away, even through incredible wind noise. This is the thing that makes it work. This is the acoustic sensor of BAT. With these kind of technologies, there's almost no limit to the uses people will find for them. The possibilities are endless. Northrop's making advanced technology work.
Quote, a mid-sized Dodge Dakota with an optional 230-horsepower Magnum V8 outpowers, outhauls, and just plain outpulls even full-size 5-liter V8s from Ford and Chevy, unquote. Dodge trucks with Magnum engines, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Skins game came down to the last play in the last 2 seconds.
Yeah, phenomenal drive, and then it just, you know, you can't put it in so near and yet so far.
That's a good way of putting
Somebody said that earlier.
I said it earlier, and you stole it now.
Anyway, the Redskins lost a golden opportunity to march into the playoffs. That distinction instead goes to the Philadelphia Eagles by virtue of their 17-13 win in the vet this afternoon. The Skins, after a great march, simply failed on 2 last-second passes into the end zone and now have to take their playoff chances in Week 16. The Redskins led 3-0 early in the second period. Then Randall Cunningham got it up top to Fred Barnett. Working against Darrell Green, this turned out to be a 33-yard play and got it to the Washington 30. And a couple of downs later, Heath Sherman right up the gut, through the line by Brad Edwards, away from Darrell Green. 21 yards to put Philly ahead by the count of 7-3. Now, the Redskins have had but a handful of 50-yard-plus plays this year. Mark Rippon read the coverage on Gary Clark to the near side, came back to see Ricky Sanders with his hand in the air. His defender had bit on the play action. Sanders flying free, 62-yard bomb. Skins were back on top at 10-7. Brian Mitchell got into the act as a regular running back. 5 straight plays at one point. He handled the ball on the day, 3 carries and 3 receptions. And this one moved the ball into position for Chip Lohmiller's 41-yard field goal that ended the first half with the Redskins leading the game 13-7. But the Skins could generate nothing in the third quarter. The Eagles, too, only had 1 good possession. Randall Cunningham's bootleg got it to the Skins' 40-yard line. He had 2 such runs on the day, good for 29 yards. All-time leading rushing quarterback. After a 13-yard pass to Heath Sherman, Cunningham threw into double coverage, but Calvin Williams adjusted to the underthrown ball. A.J. Johnson got too deep. Brad Edwards could only throw Williams down. Touchdown. Eagles up 14-13 heading into the fourth. The offenses of both teams seemed to be waiting for the defense or special teams to create something, and it was the Eagles who got that break. Kelly Goodburn's 35-yard, 3.3-second hang time punt went to Vi Sikahema, and he returned it 47 yards. Johnny Thomas knocking him out inside the 25-yard line. The Skins defense held, but Roger Ruzek made the 23-yard gimme to make it 17-13. Skins had stayed within 1 score, but they now needed a touchdown. Mark Rippon completed 5 key passes on the final long drive, none bigger than the 4th and 10 throw to Ricky Irvins. That maintained possession. But then 2 shots for the winning score. Gary Clark laid out, trying to make the heroic playoff clinching grab. Just went off his fingertips. And then 2 seconds left from the 6th. Rippon tried to drill it between 3 defenders to Gary Clark. Eric Allen got a hand on it. Couldn't see where the other receivers were, but the game was over. Eagles 17 and the Redskins 13. And needless to say, Skins went from the high intensity of that last drive to the despair of watching the Eagles celebrate their ride into the playoffs. Frank Herzog was in the locker room moments after the game.
So if the Redskins lose and the Packers win, which means the Vikings lose, the Eagles beat the Giants, or the Giants. I'm getting a headache. Ken, the problem here is one of attitude. If the Redskins can make the playoffs, what kind of frame of mind are they in? Well, that's the good news that comes out of the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, because in that final drive for the end zone, the attitude was up.
Skins break the huddle. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Those fans are making noise now.
It was just sheer confidence. Everybody was like, oh, this is going to be such a great ending to this game, you know.
Nobody was thinking about any negatives or anything. Just who was going to make the play.
Twice in that final drive, the Redskins came oh so close to victory. The first, look how close Gary Clark gets to the ball. But on the second, Clark never touched it.
16th play of the drive. Let's see what Rippon can do. Let's see what the Redskins can do. He's rolling out, steps back up, dumps it over the middle, batted away, incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Gary Clark, who sits there on his knees, hands on hips, can't believe it.
Good play on his part, never got to him. Good thing he was there. I mean, if he wouldn't have been there, it would have been perfect. I mean, ripped through a good pass. He just made a good play, stepped in front.
The pressure from Reggie upfield forced me to pull up a little bit and, catch Gary out of the corner of my eye coming across, and I just didn't get enough on the ball. Matter of fact, I think Jim said I hit his helmet when I came through, and you don't notice what you're throwing, when you're throwing it, but just didn't get enough on it to Gary over the middle, and they made a play on it.
You hate to lose, we had our fate in our own hands, and we screwed that up.
There's still a light at the end of the tunnel. We can take care of our deal. And, we still have a shot.
This game's not going to affect us going into next week. We knew we were up against it, and the Eagles were playing for their playoff life this game, and we're playing on their home field. And they had all the advantage, and it was a great, hard-fought game right down to the end, and they're a great team, so we just give them credit for the win, but nobody's going to hang their heads.
There is an irony in all of this as well. You see, by winning, the Eagles may wind up losing. With all the parameters in the wild card thing set aside for a moment, there's a good chance that the Eagles will wind up playing the New Orleans Saints, the one team the Redskins didn't want to play to start the playoffs. The Redskins, if they can do it, will take Minnesota or Green Bay and thank their lucky stars. So now the question is, can they do it? Ken Mease will have more about the whole wild card possibilities in just a moment. It's all yours, Ken. From Veterans Stadium, I'm Frank Herzog for Eyewitness Sports.
What a sport, this guy, huh? Yes, the playoff picture. Well, the Redskins can get into the show if they beat the L.A. Raiders on Saturday, and if either Philadelphia beats the Giants or Minnesota beats Green Bay, because the Redskins lose a three-way tiebreaker to the Eagles and the Packers. They can also make the final wild card slot with a loss if Green Bay loses to the Vikings, because both would be at 9-7, but the Skins would be 7-5 in the conference to the Packers 6-6. Got that. There will be a test. When we come back, a couple more teams have clinched the playoffs today. We'll have highlights and scores from around the NFL.
Although Ford F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America for 15 years, was named the best overall value in its class, and can claim a lower average ownership cost, Chevrolet says their trucks are winning. They obviously have a few screws loose. Right now, get a 93 F-Series with Ford's Preferred Care Package, including roadside assistance, free loaner vehicle, and more. And save $1,300 all before you make your best deal. See your Ford dealer today.
You're sure no one else has this?
No way, Chief. It's the next big thing from Japan.
Yeah, we found it first.
We ordered 50,000 of them from Tokyo. They'll be here in a week.
A week?
A week.
And no one could get it here faster.
Santa couldn't get them here faster.
Federal Express can, with Express Freighter, the only way to get shipments from around the world sent overnight to you by 10:30 the next morning.
By this time next week, everybody in the company's going to know our name. Santa couldn't get them here faster.
Express Freighter. If you don't use it, your competition will.
If you have trouble in your shower, call Warner at 1-800-4-HOT-WATER.
It's a car. It's also a Volkswagen. So it comes from a belief that driving is passion, that a car isn't 2 tons of heartless steel and high technology, but a friend. The new V6 Passat Touring Sedan. Experience one at your Volkswagen retailer.
Well, did you know that the Dallas Cowboys have not yet clinched the NFC East? Well, they're in the playoffs, certainly. They can take care of that little divisional championship tomorrow night. They're in Atlanta. Elsewhere in the NFC East this weekend, remember the Giants beat the Chiefs yesterday? That really hurt the Chiefs. Their playoffs still in jeopardy. And today, Phoenix had a 10-0 lead, then lost to the Colts 16-13. Now, the Minnesota Vikings today clinched the NFC Central as Barry Foster of the Steelers and Terry Allen, Minnesota, bent the defenses but didn't break them. 6-3 the final. Foster had 118 yards rushing. He's over 1,500 for the year. But Terry Allen gained 172. The entire scoring, a Gary Anderson field goal for the Steelers and 2 by Fuad Reves. The last one, 36 yards on the last play of the game. The Vikings beat the Steelers by the score of 6-3. The Green Bay Packers made life miserable for the Redskins. Sterling Sharp closed in on Art Monk's season reception record, now 102-106, 28-13. They beat the Rams. Rams broke on top with a Jim Everett to Flipper Anderson pass and led 10-7, but then Everett threw outside, receiver ran inside, and Terrell Buckley, the over-the-shoulder catch at the LA 33. Then he ran about 50 yards back across the field, at least a 75-yard run as the crow flies, but he got the touchdown, put the Packers up 14-10, and Green Bay beat the Rams 28-13, stay in the middle of the NFC playoff chase. One of the games that didn't count today, Lions beat the Bears by the score of 16-3, and on Saturday, the 49ers clinched the NFC West along with home field advantage by beating the Buccaneers. In the AFC, do you realize that home field advantage throughout the playoffs could go to the San Diego Chargers? Yes. Well, the Buffalo Bills took a step toward it anyway today with a mild upset over the Saints, 20-16. The Saints jumped ahead in this game by the score of 13-3 when Bobby Hebert threw 20 yards to rookie Torrance Small. Santa was enjoying himself. Well, here's Hebert. He gets it to Small, 13-3 in favor of the New Orleans Saints. But the Bills' Thurman Thomas was the man. He had a 44-yard run that helped set up his own touchdown. This put Buffalo ahead 17-16. They beat the Saints 20-16. Both have already clinched playoff berths. This evening, 9 points in the last 2.5 minutes, including a touchdown on an illegal pick play. Pete Stoyanovich missed the extra point, then came back to kick a field goal with 4 seconds left. Miami eliminated the Colts by beating the Jets 19-17. Miami has clinched a playoff berth. And San Diego 36-14 over the Raiders. Chargers, the first team ever to make an 0-4 start and then make the playoffs. Not only that, they're tied with Pittsburgh and Buffalo at 10-5, could win home field, and they are at Seattle next week. Stan Humphries out there, they call him Stan Diego. Yeah, he's leading the Bobby Bethard Alumni Association 2 touchdown passes. This one 57 yards to Nate Lewis. Chargers hold on to win 36-14. First playoff in about a dozen years for them. The Cleveland Browns were eliminated. They're out of the playoffs. Houston beat them 17-14 as the Oilers are still alive. Cody Carlson, the hero there. Cleveland led this one 14-3 on passes to special teamer Ron Wolfe. That was not Ron. And then also this one to heavyweight defensive tackle turned tight end James Jones, 14-3. Cleveland was up, but Cody Carlson threw 2 TDs, one to Curtis Duncan with 2:58 left, and then the 3-yarder to Ernest Givens with 34 seconds to go. Houston 17, Cleveland 14. John Elway returned. He's in the books as he goes over the 30,000-yard mark, but he was intercepted 3 times. Still, the Broncos stay alive, 10-6 over Seattle. And this and the Bears-Lions game, the only 2 games that didn't have any impact on the playoffs. Bengals over the Patriots, 20-10. Harold Green over the 1,000-yard mark for the year. Okay, in the National Hockey League, the Capitals are in Ottawa tomorrow. Good news for them tonight is 2 Patrick Division rivals were force-fed ice chips. The Islanders were in Quebec, where the Nordiques blitzed them early. Joe Sakic's 24th goal of the year opened up a 3-goal early barrage for the Nords on Glenn Healy. I thought there was only one, so we won't go into that. Jeff Norton made it respectable by the end of the period. 3-1, Quebec was still ahead. The Islanders then pulled within 3-2 as they went into the third, but Owen Nolan got credit for the game-winning goal. That made it 4-2 Quebec. The Nordiques beat the Islanders 5-3. And Santa had it, right? Also, Philadelphia, they get put on the beach by Tampa Bay, 4-1. Elsewhere, Chicago beating Minnesota 4-0 with about a minute left, and Buffalo over Toronto. That's a 5-4 final. In the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers come to Cap Center to play the Bullets tomorrow night. One Atlantic Division club in action tonight, New Jersey, hosting Walt Williams and the Sacramento Kings. Now, name the net not involved in this play. Kenny Anderson to Drazen Petrovic to Derek Coleman over the shoulder to Sam Bowie for the dunk. The answer was Chris Morris. He wasn't in on that play for the Kings. Kurt Rambis, who will now play for anyone who gives him a pair of shorts and a numbered tank top. He gets the rebound to feed to Wizard Walt Williams for the dunk. But the Nets would hold off the Kings. Derek Coleman to the sideline, the pass to Kenny Anderson. 20 points for Coleman and 24 rebounds. An 8-1 run at the end. Won it for New Jersey. 104-98 over Sacramento. And in golf, Nick Faldo blew a 5-shot lead, then came back to beat Greg Norman in sudden death. Won $550,000 in the Johnny Walker Jamaica Golf Classic.
Thank you very much, Ken. And we want to leave our viewers the final look at the Lorenzo family who arrived tonight in Northern Virginia after that flight to freedom from Cuba. They're in our area. They have nothing more than the clothes on their back, and some of our viewers have already called in asking where they can make a contribution. Undoubtedly, we'll have more on this tomorrow. We welcome you and wish you a Merry Christmas.
RadioShack introduces the Video Information System by Memorex. Open new worlds for your family. Worlds of imagination and discovery. Old worlds and new worlds. Expand your knowledge. Solve a mystery. Do research with Compton's Multimedia Encyclopedia, included with each unit. VIS, it's worlds apart from regular TV, and you are in control. Experience the world of VIS at RadioShack, your Christmas electronics store.